Hi there, my name is Jessica, and I am starting something a little more informal here called Field Notes on Integrity. These are going to be shorter reflections, thoughts that come up between clients while I'm taking a walk at the barn or in the middle of ordinary life. And these are going to cover things about ethics, values, choices, and what it means to stay connected to yourself during seasons of transition. These aren't going to be full productions or polished lectures, just notes from the field, whether it be at my desk or in the woods. The first field note is about a sentence that actually planted the seed for the integrity edit. So let's go back about 10 years ago. I was going through a major health crisis. My body was starving. My spirit was starving. I was starving emotionally. Um, I was in a bad way. And because I was in a bad way, I was desperate for answers. And I was looking anywhere I could find them. And when you're desperate, you can start making dangerous choices and decisions and still convince yourself that you're being brave, you're leaning and pressing into your edges as you search for healing. So at that time, I was not acting like myself. In fact, it actually felt like something had come into me and was inhabiting my body and my mind. The people closest to me could see it, but I couldn't because I was inside of it. And I felt like I was this minuscule portion that was being pushed down and away from and by all of this pain. So I couldn't see clearly because the fear, the pain, the need for relief was all encompassing. So one day I was talking to a close friend and confidant, my massage therapist, about some ideas I was having, thinking this was going to be the thing that would enlighten me, would release me from what I was struggling with. She listened. And after I got done talking, she got very direct with me. And she basically told me to get my shit together. And then she said something I haven't forgotten. In fact, it's something that I remember almost on a daily basis. She leaned in close to me and with a terseness I had never experienced from her before, she said, "You are an integrous woman." And those words were like a slap across my face. Not because she was being cruel, but because she was right. And I could feel her disbelief. I could feel the concern that she had. And I could feel that she was looking at me thinking, what are you doing? This is not who you are. And you are about to blow up a really good life. She had known me for the better part of a decade. She knew my heart. She knew my values. And from where she was sitting, I was talking like somebody who lost the plot. And that sentence was like she reached down inside of me and grabbed something that I had forgotten, not to flatter me, but to confront me with what was real and what was true. It reminded me of who I was at that exact moment. And I was being pulled away from myself. I was down a path that was about to destroy me. And this is what I mean when I talk about integrity. I am not talking about perfection or moral superiority. I am an extremely flawed human being who lives with her mistakes daily. What I mean is the relationship between who you know yourself to be at the core and how you're actually living. Sometimes when you're in enough pain, that relationship to yourself gets distorted. You can be a thoughtful person and still start negotiating with things that are not aligned with your values. You can be a person with a good heart and still drift into dangerous territory. That's why we need people who know us, not people who shame us or want to control us, but people who can say, stop, I know you. This is not where you want to go. Years later, a friend of my husband said something similar, albeit in a different way. And maybe this is how guys talk to each other. My husband's a retired Army colonel, so they don't mince words. His friend said to him that he didn't have anybody to punch him in the face when he was making decisions that completely altered his life and the relationships with those he carries most precious to his heart. Now, I'm not condoning literal violence here. I'm talking about a person who loves you enough to interrupt the story you're telling yourself. The person who can hear the messy truth without shaming you or becoming a co-conspirator, because those are the two extremes. Some people shame you so badly that you retreat and hide within yourself. Other people co-sign your destruction because they want to seem supportive. But the rare person can stay steady enough to tell you the truth. I'm blessed to have had that friend because that's what she did for me. She called me back to myself. And honestly, had she not, I don't know where I would be, if I would still be here, or who I would be, because I certainly wouldn't be who I am today. So the integrity edit began in part with that one sentence: you are an integrous woman. Not because I had behaved perfectly, but because there was still something true deep inside of me that I could remember as truth. So that's the question I want to leave you with today. Do you have someone in your life who can call you back to yourself? Someone who knows your core well enough to recognize when you're drifting away from it? And maybe the harder question: can you be that person for someone else? Not the judge, not the enabler, but the person with enough courage and enough love to say, I know you, and this is not where you want to go. That's it. This is the first field note. The integrity edit began with a sentence that interrupted my self destruction. And I am still leaning into that sentence every day. Take good care. And I will see you in the next one.